Thanks, dear viewers, for joining us on this edition of the news on Équinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Bable Jonathan. In our top stories tonight, 5 Nobel Peace Prize laureates, former Canadian, American, and United Kingdom government members and ambassadors and other international dignitaries urged the Cameroon government, the military, and separatist fighters to drop their guns and call for a ceasefire in the northwest and southwest regions of the country for peace to return in the crisis-hit parts of the Republic of Cameroon. In the meantime, the minister delegate at the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Paul Tasson, and his collaborator, former Mayor John Donatus, have urged the people of the northwest region of the country to accept President Paul Biya's reconstruction plan. Both of them are in the northwest region on a sensitization tour. Thanks, dear viewers, for joining us on this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. We begin this newscast with the global campaign for peace and justice in the Republic of Cameroon, and some international dignitaries have applauded United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' call for a global ceasefire to mitigate COVID-19 in the Anglophone regions of the country, and also to restore normalcy in the crisis-hit parts of the Republic of Cameroon. And they have also echoed the ceasefire. They have re-echoed the ceasefire and emphasized that COVID-19 cases cannot reduce while infrastructure is being attacked, population and harmed and displaced, and medical and humanitarian aid cannot reach parts of the two Anglophone regions of the country because of the crisis going on there. 5 Nobel Peace Prize laureates, former members of the Canadian, United Kingdom, and American governments, and former American ambassadors to the Republic of Cameroon, and the executive director of the Global Center for the Responsibility to Protect United States and the co-founder of the Coalition for Genocide Response United Kingdom, as well as the some Cameroonians whose names have been withheld, urging the Cameroon government, the military, and the separatist fighters to call for a ceasefire in the two Anglophone regions of the country for peace and normalcy to return there. And they are also challenging the United Nations Security Council and the United Nations Secretary General, as well as the African Union and the African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Commonwealth and La Francophonie to use all instruments of power at their disposal to urge the Republic of Cameroon to call a COVID-19 ceasefire and ensure that Cameroon's Anglophone conflict is on the agenda of the forthcoming United Nations Security Council meeting and the all-UNOCA sessions before the United Nations Security Council. And the minister delegate at the presidency, the minister delegate at the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Paul Tasson, who is heading President Paul Biya's reconstruction project in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, has urged the people of those parts of the Republic of Cameroon to accept the reconstruction plan for peace and normalcy to return in those two regions. He was speaking today in the town of Bamenda, northwest region of the country. He and his collaborator and former mayor John Donatus are on a sensitization mission in Anglophone Cameroon. They are going to be sensitizing the people on the need to accept the reconstruction project of the President of the Republic of Cameroon, and what exactly they are going to be doing on the ground in the days and months ahead. And our northwest correspondent Stella is joining us from Bamenda. Stella on the line to Bamenda with updates on the sensitization mission of former minister or minister delegate at the Ministry of Economic Planning and Regional Development, Paul Tasson, and the former mayor of Kumbu, John Donatus, who are moving into parts of the northwest and southwest regions of the country to sensitize the people on the reconstruction plan established by the President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya. It should be noted that hundreds of villages have been completely destroyed in the two Anglophone regions of the country in the course of the close to 4-year-long conflict, the violence and gun battles between elements of the National Armed Forces, Security and Defense Forces and separatist fighters have continued in those two regions, and of course the killing of people and other atrocities are still being committed in those two regions. And for the past 4 years, the government of the Republic of Cameroon has been striving to put an end to the crisis, but political, civil society, non-governmental and human rights organizations within and without Cameroon have been saying that the military strategy going on or implemented in those two regions has contributed to worsen the situation and is hindering a return to normalcy in those two regions, and a military crackdown is currently going on in those two regions. In the last operation codenamed Widi Bali, in which the elements of the National Armed Forces stormed parts of Balinyonga in the Mezam Division and Widikum in the Momo Division, over 13 separatist fighters were killed, according to information published by the 5th Region Military Commander General Nka Vale. And the military crackdown is said is a global mission, a global operation which has as intention to put an end to all separatist activities in the two regions of the Republic of Cameroon. And the minister delegate at the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Paul Tasson, and his collaborators are meeting with the people of the two regions, beginning with the authorities, administrative, traditional and municipal authorities and all other stakeholders in the northwest region of the country, in view of facilitating the reconstruction of villages burnt down, villages destroyed in the course of the 4-year-long Anglophone crisis. We're going to take a listen to Minister Paul Tasson in this extract.
The reconstruction activities envisaged during the next 2 years, to outline the process and mechanism for implementing the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the northwest and southwest regions, to define the methods of organization of the various beneficiaries of the plan, in particular the village cultural and development associations, to develop a security map of the intervention areas, to ensure ownership of the plan by potential beneficiaries, and to discuss the methods of securing and perpetuating community infrastructure and other collective equipment. During the next 2 days, each division of the Northwest region will be consulted.
Minister Paul Tasson speaking there. He is the leader of the reconstruction project in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. Correspondent Mbu Stella will be joining us in a short while with other details concerning Minister Paul Tasson's presence in the northwest region of the country. It should be noted that it is a ghosted Bamenda town, so to speak, that received the minister and his collaborators in the northwest regional chief town, Bamenda. Today, the major streets were quite deserted. Only some few vehicles, motorbikes, and some persons could be seen in parts of Upstation and the Nkwen neighborhood in the Bamenda 2 subdivision. And the Nkwen neighborhood has been one of the places that is often more or less busy during ghost town days. Some few persons are often seen around that area, but away from total Nkwen neighborhood, in particular the rest of Nkwen subdivision, the rest of Nkwen village, so to speak, is often quite deserted, and other parts of the town, Sonak streets, even the commercial avenue, which is one of the most busiest places in the town of Bamenda on ordinary days, were quite deserted today. And the ghost town operation has been enforced in the two Anglophone regions by separatists for over 3 years today on Mondays, and other days imposed by the separatist fighters in the northwest and southwest regions of the country as the crisis deepens further. Now we go into the southwest region of the country, where development is hampered by the Anglophone crisis, and development stakeholders indicating that they are unable to carry on with developmental projects, they are unable to carry on with their activities because of the adverse impact of the Anglophone crisis. Derek Jato reports.
The Cameroon government is facing challenges from multiple fronts.
We all know that the country is going through a serious crisis now, financial crisis. You know the problems in the far north, security problems in the eastern region, and the unrest in the northern and southwest that's still going on. All of this, especially the COVID, the impact of COVID-19 as well on the economy.
The economic meltdown is visible, and the government structures are facing the impact.
What we are receiving as subsidies from government is dwindling as the years go by.
It is against this backdrop that Ediage Herbert, board chair of the Southwest Development Authority Soweto, among other things, centered the first ordinary session of the Board of Directors for the 2020 financial year on how Soweto can research on alternative avenues for revenues for an effective implementation of rural developmental projects in the Southwest region.
We also went ahead and gave instructions to the management to be able to go ahead and explore ways and means of coming up with alternative means of funding the activities of Soweto. I think it is time for Soweto to start looking for other avenues.
The Southwest Development Authority Soweto is placed directly under the Cameroon Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and has as primary objective to better the living standard of the rural population in the region.
Eric Jato reporting there. In the west region of the country, many neighborhoods, many localities, especially those far off from the urban centers, are suffering in chronic underdevelopment, characterized by the absence of social amenities. And in the report coming up next, Innocent takes us to one of such localities, Bati.
Many inhabitants of Foyemcha, a locality in Kekem subdivision of the Mongo division, have forgotten about putting on a face mask when at funeral gatherings. I'm surprised that from the mortuary where we removed the corpse, many inhabitants are without their face mask. Even though without face mask, hand sanitizers and buckets to wash their hands are very scarce in this locality. Officials of the Kekem Council, we were told, had distributed these items a month ago. The officials of the Kekem Council called the chiefs to hand to them some items like buckets. All of them were placed in zones that people could wash their hands. Unfortunately, since they were not enough, the inhabitants of Foyemcha have gone back to their normal life as they used to live before the outbreak of the corona epidemic. at the health center of Foyemcha. No bucket to wash hands or even hand sanitizers. We go in search of water, and after we disinfect it, then we use it. Concerning hand sanitizers, we have made our own products here that we give to the patients when they come. Farming is the main activity embarked by the inhabitants of Foyemcha in Kekem subdivision. With a drop of price in kilo of cocoa seeds, they say they lack the means to buy the items needed to protect themselves from coronavirus.
Smanjikan Gabriel reporting the underdevelopment challenges faced by Foyemcha, a locality in the Mongo Division littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. Now we go to the West region where Innocent paints the ugly picture of underdevelopment in some parts of that, the West region.
A locality found 7 kilometers from Galim in the Bambotos division of the West region of Cameroon feel abandoned to live in absolute obscurity.
Ce qu'il faut retenir, c'est que
Bati is completely cut from the central town and other localities. No existence of good roads. Trekking is a big problem. Circulation of vehicles is practically impossible.
de sérieuses difficultés. Certains enfants ont de la peine.
Children battle to get to school. Patients cannot go to the hospitals in either Bati, Galim, or Mbuda.
Donc à ce niveau, on est totalement coupé.
Inhabitants, apart from these, also run for weeks without electricity, whose supply is epileptic.
Jusqu'à là, depuis plus d'une semaine, on n'a même plus de courant au village. Tous les poteaux sont au sol.
Electric poles and cables are all on the ground. This becomes risky to all, especially children. We caution the minors not to near the fallen cables.
Puisque tous les enfants connaissent déjà que c'est mortel.
Business activities have equally been affected as a result.
Quand il n'y a pas la lumière, le poisson qui est au frais se gâte parfois. Il y a beaucoup de yaourts qu'on jette parfois.
With regards to potable water for cooking and other house duties, it is lacking. For washing, they gather in the stream to wash clothes. The inhabitants of Bati implore local administrative authorities to sit up and play their role to give them the required basic social amenities. They as well turn to officials of the electricity production and distribution company to replace the fallen poles by erecting new ones and to scrupulously cure the problem of epileptic energy supply in the locality.
Now we go back to the Northwest Regional Chief Town, Bamenda, where our correspondent Mbu Stella is on standby with updates and other details on the President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya's reconstruction plan being piloted by Minister Delegate at the Ministry of Economy, Planning and Regional Development, Paul Tasson, and former Mayor John Donatus. Good evening, Stella.
Good evening, Babila and viewers of Équinoxe TV. Deserted street in parts of the Northwest region, due to what is becoming a routine here, characterize the visit of Mr. Tasson, who is the national coordinator for the presidential plan, the reconstruction and development of the North region. The North region is today a story of massive destruction. Kidnappings, problems and the violent competition taking
some connection issues there with the line to Bamenda, where our correspondent Stella is filing in details on what is happening in the town of Bamenda following the arrival of Minister Paul Tasson John Donatus, and other persons who are working within the framework of the reconstruction plan of the President of the Republic of Cameroon, the reconstruction of villages and other parts of the two Anglophone regions of the country destroyed by the 4-year-long Anglophone crisis. Will be coming back to Stella in a subsequent news editions. Coming up next, Talking Point. Thanks for staying with us. We are receiving a civil society leader, David Senate. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Good to see you.
The government is fast-tracking the reconstruction of parts of the two Anglophone regions of the country that have been destroyed by the Anglophone crisis. What do you think about that reconstruction plan?
Reconstruction, it sounds very nice, very encouraging. It's what everybody is waiting for at the end of the day. But the way it's being proposed and being engaged by the government now, we can be sure it's a failure. It's failure right from the beginning, because what are we reconstructing? What are the damages? Who has been damaged? Who needs to be compensated? Who needs to be reconstructed? I think this attitude of just trickling down everything from Yaoundé, defined by them, it just wouldn't work with the Anglophones. We have said, and this crisis is all about that we want to manage our own affairs locally. The national dialogue, if it did not admit anything else, in spite of all its troubles, at least did accept that the people of the Northwest and the Southwest would like to manage their own affairs, which means even the talk of special status has not come out. There are no chances of us electing our leaders, and people we have chosen, people who have confidence in, people who work for us, and through them we can define what has been destroyed and what needs to be constructed.
But before the full implementation of the special status, the destroyed parts of the region, life has to come back to the destroyed parts of the region, and then everything can be organized. And that is why Minister Paul Tasson, former man John Donatus, and the other people are meeting there in the Northwest region with the governor, the traditional rulers, and all other authorities to find a way forward, to identify exactly what is to be done, where and how. And then
these are people from the region, and they know what is going on. Why are they refusing to admit the truth? Why are they refusing to sit and tell the president or tell the people who are managing them in Yaoundé what is really happening? Nothing can be done in the present atmosphere. There is still a lot of mistrust. There is still fighting going on. There is still the impression by the people of those regions that they are being occupied by a foreign army, according to them. Why can't we arrange that already? No. There's gun shooting every day. The other day I was talking to my friend who is in Bamenda in Nitop. He says, no, hang on. The shooting today is too much. I'll talk to you later. There's fighting going on. These people who are going there having very nice, well orchestrated meetings, and we get pictures, especially CRTV. They simply refuse to tell the people what is happening. The insecurity is still growing.
That's of course why some international dignitaries, including 5 peace laureates, Nobel Peace Prize laureates, former members of the Canadian, American, United Kingdom government, former ambassadors of the United States to Cameroon, and others calling or challenging the Cameroon government and the military and the separatists to call for a ceasefire. But why is it not coming forth?
How come that these people, miles away as they are, see what is happening in Cameroon better than people who are in Cameroon? Why do the people here not ask themselves, why is the whole place full up with people from the Northwest, Southwest problems? Why are elected officials not able, elected as well as appointed governors, the SDOs, not be able to walk around freely? There is a problem. And the problem stems from the fact that the people want to be able to manage their own affairs.
So to you, the reconstruction plan, all what Minister Paul Tasson and John Donatus have been doing till now, the meeting in Yaoundé, all the organization, the millions of francs CAV, the mission to the Northwest, all of that is not going to work.
Jonathan, the millions of francs will be spent. For that one, there's no doubt about it. It will go in somebody's pocket. But this new project of reconstruction, it will go the same way as the disarmament. What's been disarmed? It will go the same way as the bilingual and the Vivre Ensemble Commission. Where are they? Apart from the bilingual and this Living Together Commission that gave themselves medal for work well done, that nobody has seen. Then you just keep creating commissions, naming Anglophones there, and nothing is happening on the ground. Take the simple ghost town days. Why are they not asking, why is it persisting? Is it really because they are afraid of the separatists? No. The people are adhering to it. There is something they want. They have their leaders, in quotes, in jail in Yaoundé. They have people like Mancho BBC in jail in Yaoundé. There are basic things that have not been done, that need to be done. And until they do that, we're just going round and round and round and round.
The minister urged the people of the Northwest and Southwest regions to accept President Paul Biya's reconstruction plan.
It's supposed to be for their good. Does he even need to ask them?
Should they not accept and drop down the guns?
It's supposed to be good for them. They are the ones who need it. Do they have to persuade them to accept it? No. They should have welcomed it with open hands. But the conditions are not right. For heaven's sake, the conditions are not right. The people of the Northwest and Southwest province are not being represented by people they have confidence in, by people they have chosen, by people who are working for them. And nobody should fool themselves. Let's get down, let's get to the table. Let's tackle the cause. How did it get here? What went wrong? With a simple getting together of two regions, of two people with two cultures. It's because it didn't work. And we are saying, let's re-examine it. Let's get something that we can all accept. And every day we get an imposition. Lies from CRTV, from ministers, and then gunshots and the repression from the army. It wouldn't work.
There have been calls for a ceasefire coming from everywhere. Guns should go down, but the guns are still up, the guns are still talking, the bullets are still crisscrossing the two regions. What is keeping the guns
clearly
from going down?
It's easier said than done, the guns. And I tell you, the separatists are not making as much benefit from the guns as the military. And the military knows it.
The military are making benefits? What sort of benefits?
It's a mafia. They wouldn't want this war to stop. Are they looking at what they are doing and what they are gaining? No. They are making money out of it. It's a racket. I'm telling you.
But they have been, like for example, the Global Campaign for Peace and Justice in Cameroon initiative with all the international dignitaries saying, government, military, put down your guns. Why is it so difficult for the head of state to call for a bilateral ceasefire?
Exactly. Because he is not getting the right information. He's not getting the right information. He's getting people who are telling him lies. He's getting people who, I mean, he's Minister of the Interior. What else do we say? As a minister who spends his time distributing buckets and soap to wash hands, is that really what the problem is? He has better things to do.
But the close aides of the President of the Republic are saying that the separatists should respond to should receive the olive branch of the President of the Republic and drop their guns, and then the military will have nothing to shoot, so they too will return to the barracks.
I think at one time the head of state declared that these people were going to be brought down militarily, and they took it, rightly or wrongly, that it was a declaration of war. Can the head of state not declare that this is over? Let him start by laying down the arms, taking the army back to their barracks. Let the people manage their affairs. They don't want war. They give the impression that they can be suppressed militarily, and that by giving the orders, put down their arms, they'll put down their arms. It just isn't working. In fact, I have reason to think that more and more people are being radicalized, because the new people they are killing only generates more and more support. So
the military crackdown going on now.
We don't need military crackdown. These are our own brothers and sisters. Why are they taking guns to shoot us?
And then the international dignitaries think that the United Nations Security Council, the African Union, should take action, should do something concrete to put an end to this crisis.
I think
what can they do?
It's clear to all of them. And I think the one person they need to persuade, and the day he will turn around and agree that there is an Anglophone problem, is the French. Personally, I don't have any proof for that, but I feel that if the French took the problem seriously and told the people in Yaoundé that this is not working, listen to the international community, what can we do? I think we'll go much further.
But recently, the President of the Republic spoke to the nation on the 19th of May, prior to National Day celebration, and he said little or nothing about the national unity itself that is being threatened by a crisis. And the French President, Emmanuel Macron, in a message to him, highlighted the issue of the Anglophone crisis and asking the president or the government.
That was a good move by the French president.
To solve the problem.
That was a good move by the French president, but I think he should do more. He should put more pressure. He should show the Cameroonian authorities that he is serious. He should allow the people of Southwest, Northwest to send their own true representatives. Look at the sham elections that we have. Everybody is SDF now in the parliament. But you think that the people of Southwest, Northwest have the feeling that they have representatives there? Of course not. Most of them did not even vote.
So with this situation, the reconstruction cannot go on?
No, it cannot go on unless just go back to the dialogue. Let's sit down and talk around the table and let them get the true representatives of the people. Listen to them. I don't think what they are asking is so terrible.
But there was a dialogue, and the
government
government says that it has provided many solutions to many of the problems that have been highlighted, except for cessation, which is inadmissible to the government.
I beg your pardon, that was not a dialogue. That was a monologue. The people on this side was the government. The people on the other side was the government, chosen by the same government. You know it, I know it. Who on that table was representing the interest, the genuine interest of the Anglophones, or the people of the Northwest and the Southwest? Who is listening to what their problems is? Who is listening to what the teachers were complaining about, the lawyers were complaining about, the marginalization that we've talked about for 50 or so years since independence? It's not much people are asking for. It's just
the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, the first vice, Honorable O.C. Joshua, Cardinal Tomi, even the diaspora people like Padia Sanga and so on, they were there.
No, they were
They
were compromised a long time ago. Even they are the first people who tell you that they didn't get much out of it. They didn't say much of it. What did they table? What was accepted? Even the small that they used to whitewash our eyes, they talked of special status. Why is this so late in coming? We're going to wait another 20, 30 years for the special status? Why do we still have appointed governors in the Northwest and the Southwest? Why can't we elect our governors? Why can't we elect our councillors? That's what we want.
So, if you were to advise Minister Paul Tassona, what will you tell him? To withdraw, go back to Yaoundé and start back from square one?
Minister Paul Tasson has a family to feed. He needs his salary, and he will not be the first one to start going against the government. It's a good appointment. He's happy for his family, but he will achieve nothing.
So what should he do?
Continue to make his cinema. The people who are pulling the strings are still behind, and they should look for what is the proper solution. They should look for the representatives of the people of the Northwest, Southwest. Let them even make a first step about their so-called special status and give the people their independence. Let the governors be chosen by the people. Let the councillors and so on be done. It's just like nothing happened.
All right.
Why can't we go into a federation? Although that's not the best option. I hope there will not be too many people still arguing for a separation. Let's try federation. Let's go back to the two states. Let's go back to the two states. Let's not be too arrogant or too proud to say we got it all wrong. Let's start again.
Davidson Ati, civil society leader, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Thanks, dear viewers, for staying with us. Goodbye.